The biodynamic method offers many practical guidelines for gardeners. Energy for growing plants is in the form of nitrogen and is found in life. Bio means life, dynamics means energy. Biodynamics, born as a response to synthetic, lifeless nitrogen, says yes to compost and humus and life, and no to chemicals. We find life in the humus in the soil, the dark, fertile part of the soil. Humus comes from leaf mold and manures, old rotten hay, or forest products from the forest floor. We can go into the woods, into a low-lying area, and you'll find where leaves and rotted logs have been sitting for a long time and get really nice black-looking good humus products. We use all of these things in the compost piles. This is where we grow the microbes and form the humus clay complex that we want in our soils. That's why it's a good idea to add clay soils to the compost, because it has lots of microbes and minerals in it. The compost itself then is a mixture of all these things, and you can sort of still see some of the old leaves that are all falling apart, some of the wood products. But before we use it, we want to get a product that doesn't smell and that is just ready to go. I might let this pile set for a little bit longer. This white stuff are the threads of fungal hyphae. That's really valuable in your garden. Yeah, this is good stuff right here. This is old, rotted hay on its way to forming humus. Kitchen scraps and garden refuse go in the compost pile too. This compost here is ready to use, totally humified and looking beautiful. The more we use really good compost in our gardens, and I'm talking inches deep, then the less Mother Nature will have to send in her compost makers, which are the insects and diseases. Another way to get humus is to grow your own. We grow cover crops. In the summer, these would be buckwheat, Sudan grass, sun hemp, and cowpeas. But these are all frost tender. In the wintertime, we grow a whole different set of crops. This is rye. We also grow wheat. These are grains. This one here is crimson clover, just about to start to flower. The yellow flowers are turnips. These crops, like all cover crops, will be mown when they're in peak flower and then gently incorporated to soil a few weeks before planting. Biodynamic farmers taught me the value of using rock dusts in my gardening. We use lime to sweeten up the soil. It helps to raise the pH from all the carbonaceous materials that we've been adding, lower the pH. They're acidic. So we always have to add lime if we're using lots of mulches and composts and leaf molds and things like that. Paramagnetic rock dusts come from volcanoes. This is basalt. The value of paramagnetic rocks and volcanic dust was revealed when Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980 and spread ash around the surrounding fields and forests, which grew dramatically better afterwards. This reinforced the idea that these volcanic rocks are important for building soils. We also use rock phosphate. It's a rock dust called apatite that's mined near Columbia, Tennessee. And then we always use some wood ashes, which also contain trace elements, which these things do too, and potassium and lime. High quality and nutrient density in your food come from the plants being able to access easily all that they need to grow healthily. Humus is the key here because it unlocks the minerals that are in the soil so that they'll be in the food that you eat. We use gentle tillage to aerate the soil, check evaporation, and keep the weeds at bay. Then we might want to use a mulch to cover up the soil, to keep the rains and stuff off of it, and keep the soil nice and loose underneath. And of course the mulch will rot into a humus and further enhance the life of the soil. With good sun above and good drainage below, you should be good to go. Our biodynamic farm doesn't use much plastic. Instead of a black plastic mulch, we just keep the ground loosely cultivated like farmers did before plastic and chemicals. For irrigation, we rely on deep tillage, the winter rains, and then a dust mulch on top. So we don't use any of that drip irrigation either, no irrigation at all. And we don't use plastic covered hoop houses to start our seeds in the spring. We use these old-fashioned coal frames. Sometime in the beginning of April, I'll take some pepper and tomato seeds, and I have this nice leaf mold humus here. And I set the seeds, approximately 2 inches apart or so in this little furrow right here, not very deep. And then I firm them in real good. And just lightly cover them up. And that'll give us plenty of tomatoes and peppers come around the middle of May when they need to go out into the field. I'll cover them with these old window sashes. Biodynamic gardeners often do companion planting, and this is where plants that love to grow each other are planted next to each other. So over the years, many gardeners have noticed that some plants do better next to other ones. Here we have comfrey plants near our grapevines. Here we have a border of herbs and flowers that are next to where the vegetables will be. A garden can have flowers, herbs, and all kinds of pollinating plants interspersed throughout it. They mutually help each other. Planting by the signs refers to the movement of the moon through the various constellations of the zodiac, and also the nodes and whether it's running high or low, and the different phases of the moon and where the planets are. So I keep a calendar, but I believe this stuff works, but it's all so complicated, I really don't understand it real well. And I'm much more interested in what the soil tilth is, how much moisture's in the soil, and whether it's going to rain or not. So generally, I let the weather dictate what I do, not the calendar. For a fruit tree like this apple here, biodynamic orchardists mix up a tree paste. It's made from clay, basalt, and compost, and then made into a slurry and used to whitewash the bark of the trees. The basalt, of course, is volcanic minerals, and you have the humus, and the clay mediates between those two. You can add seaweeds or herbal preparations to the mix too, just like you would in a compost pile. We usually just go up to the first scaffolding branches or so. Commercial orchardists oftentimes use a whitewash made of lime and water. This sort of replaces that. Gardens are magical, and biodynamics opened my mind to their many mysteries. By observing plant growth with an active perception day after day, gardening intuition develops. For example, now I wonder why an insect infestation is there, rather than just wanting to kill all the bugs that I see. Oftentimes, I'm the one that's caused the problem. When I get the soil too compacted, you can be sure that beetles will be there. And if I add undecomposed materials to the soils, things that are stinky, manure that's not rotted down and fermented properly, I'll get nitrates, and that flush of nitrates will always bring leaf-eating insects. That's why it's important when we put things on our gardens that they're fully decomposed. Biodynamic practitioners make a great humus-forming product. We take regular old cow manure and we stuff it into a cow horn and bury it over the winter time, and then we add some herbal preparations to it and make this really nice humus-like product. It's full of microbes and various things that will help our soils to make humus itself. The way we use it is we put it into a crock and put some warmed up water in there, and we stir it up real good. After thoroughly mixing the horn manure with the water, I simply take a whisk broom and sprinkle it over the land. We balance this humus-forming product with one that helps the plants ripen. This is ground up powdered quartz crystals that's been buried in a cow horn for the summer months. And we take a small amount of this, just like a little teaspoonful, and this we stir up again, just like we did the other, in warm water, and sprinkle it on the plants. This helps to release minerals. You'll notice that in biodynamics, we're often using both the humus forming processes with calcium and compost and things of that nature, and balancing it with siliceous mineral substances, silica and the rock dusts. Biodynamics is revered worldwide for producing high quality vegetables, fruits, and wines. This is because the nitrogen that's used comes from life, humus, composts, not from chemicals. If you love gardening, you may want to subscribe to this channel. We showcase gardens, plants, and the joy that gardening can bring.